Are we live? Are we live? I think we are. Oh no. Oh no.
Sorry,
please.
guys.
Hold please.
I'm so sorry.
I have crappy outlets.
I'm so sorry.
Wait a minute. How did we? What'd you do?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
It should just be able to be plugged back in,
Yeah,
right?
no, but then all of a sudden it didn't reach. That's why I was like, what happened here?
See if this cord is moved. The smooth thing. The smooth thing is in the way.
Oh. Is this of any use to us? It's
No,
not.
it's hot. Don't put it on there.
Okay.
It's on fire.
It's on fire.
It's.
Oh, it's burning.
I know.
You should send that back.
You think?
That's not good.
I know.
Okay.
All right, so we've had to go back to our old ways for videoing because the Smooth system
Almost caught fire.
that I purchased almost caught fire, and we only used it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I will be making sure that they know that the only problem is I don't know I don't know it because I bought it from Facebook.
You didn't have shipping stuff with it?
I'll have to look.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Menopausal View. I am Jay.
And I am Jen.
And we are here to talk to you about something that has affected all of us. What is happening? Your husband, he's so special.
What did he do?
He's out there waving at me. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Anywho, I digress.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. So, what I've come here is, this is something that affects everybody. There's actually two topics that kind of intertwine. So one of them, the first topic I was just thinking about is like how one chance encounter, one meeting, one person, one moment can change the whole trajectory of your life. It can either
Make it or break it?
It can literally make it or break it. If you are the kind of person that just lets things happen, like it's like you meet someone and you see all these, and we've all done it as women. There's not one of us out here that hasn't done it as women, where we see these crappy qualities. Men have done it too. You know, where you see these crappy qualities in a person and you look beyond it. And sometimes, most times, it's because we are digmatized. Let's just say that out loud.
That's a good word, digmatized.
You're digmatized.
Hang on, before we go any further, if you are tuning in with us right now, please like and share us. Please make a comment so we know you're here, so we know that we can see your comments, because right now we can't see anything.
But that's partially because I'm also blind. So.
Well, I've got it over here, but I can't see anything. It shows that we have 5 people on, but I don't see who they are, and it's not saying who has joined us, and there's no information. So if you are joining us now, please like and share and make a comment.
Just say hello. You know, it's
Just
like when you come
hello.
into somebody's
Yeah.
living room. You say, hey.
Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
Honey. So, but all of us have experienced it, whether, and usually it's in a downward spiral. We meet somebody that, especially when we're young and we're stupid and we don't know, we're not comfortable with our own skin.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you, Monica. We're not comfortable in our own skin, and so we're looking for validation from
Everywhere else.
And we're trying to be a wife to somebody that, number one, isn't looking for a wife and is really looking for a mother or a sponsor. So, or you meet somebody that is just, and let me say this, and I don't want to deter anybody from living their best life with a crazy person, you know. But there's mental illness that, if left untreated, can be very detrimental and very wearing on the other person in the relationship. And so if you know that you have a mental illness, you should probably seek professional help and not look for your mate to fix your broken pieces. I'm just saying. I'm just going to put that out there. That's a lot to lay on a significant other when you need to be getting professional help. I'm just saying.
Let me say this about this. First of all, this is a subject that I can literally talk about for days.
Okay.
Okay? All the stupid things, relationships that I've been in.
My God.
But,
We'd be here till this time tomorrow if I went
but
through all
here's
of mine.
the thing that about what you just said that I wanted to kind of end cap on. Being able to recognize that it's yours and not someone else's is part of the process.
Yes.
And being able to seek assistance for that
Right.
is another part of that puzzle that's important. So if you are basing your happiness, your everything on another human being, then I can promise you you're the problem.
Man. Say it again for the people in the back.
If you are basing your happiness on another person, then you are the one that's going to be in the wrong. You are the one that's going to be broken. You are going to be the one that gets hurt.
Always.
You will be the one that
100%.
needs assistance.
Was that just my hair?
That was your hair.
Oh, guys, that was a whole curl that came. Look at that. We digress. Look at that, my $7 wig.
And
what?
You said you were getting your $7 out of that thing tonight, didn't you?
This is only a second wear. Oh, it's dying, guys.
I'm
That's
so sorry.
sad.
I'm so
sad.
I
I feel like I want to play taps now. But
Thank
anyway.
you, Vicky. Vicky says we look fabulous tonight. We are
Vicky.
both in her wigs. I don't know, honestly, if she's going to get this wig back at the end of the night. It may be coming home with me. Accidentally on purpose. Purposely on accident.
Right.
Because I love it!
That is actually my favorite wig in the whole world. Like, I love it because purple's my favorite color because of
My
Prince.
favorite color.
But anyway, but I was just thinking about, you know, the relationships that I've had, one in particular, and I'm so glad that, I'm glad because he was a sociopath. I know you're very familiar with sociopaths. I'm just saying. We've all had a sociopath, have we not, ladies, gentlemen?
Or 10.
All of them, I'm telling you. But I had a sociopath that we dated for probably a year and a half, off and on. But and the thing of it was, he had this ability, and they always do. He had this ability to know when I was bored. Because, like, I'd be like, I don't really like this dude, but he was funny. Mm-hmm. But then he'd come around and he'd do, just crazy stuff. And then he'd go, like, one time he stole my JCPenney card and maxed it out. Like, yeah. He stole my sound system. So anyway, but that person helped me. Like, when I say this was somebody that was he literally embodied every single solitary quality that you don't want in a mate. Like, he didn't miss one. He checked every one off the list. And so what that did help me, you know, and while you think, oh my God, why on earth, what was I doing? Where was my head at? Well, one thing, you know, he was a parasite. And so parasites find a vulnerable host. And so I was coming out of a divorce. I had 3 little kids. I wasn't feeling good about myself. I wasn't feeling beautiful. I wasn't feeling confident. And he knew that. So that's how he managed to get in the door. So, you know, I dealt with that off and on for about a year. And then I was like, you know what? This is not for me. This is, number one, I'm kind of a sharp cookie. So let me cut this out. This is not working for me. So, but what it did was it made me look at the next man with a magnifying glass, so that And not to say that he was, I'm going to say he was better. He was a huge improvement, but I still hadn't fine-tuned because he too had some sociopathic tendencies. He just had his disguised a little bit better. His was the nice guy. He was one of the nicest people. He would nice you to death. But he was also he was a master manipulator. And I don't even want to say cheater, because that was an understatement. He kind of went national with it. He kind of went national with it. And so but he was such a nice guy. And it was that, and I think what I was trying to hang on to was that, and that's what we do when we're in situations where we're still not 100%, we're looking for somebody that is going to tell us what we want to hear. You know, love is an action, is actually a verb. It's not something that you say, oh, I love this person. You got to work at really loving somebody. You really have to. And somebody can't love you after knowing you for 2 weeks. They can't. They simply can't. They can be in love with the idea of you. They can be in love with they can be in lust with you, but they can't love you because they don't know you. And chances are you don't know yourself. Am I lecturing?
No, I'm cracking up because it took me a good 40 years to figure out that I was perfect just the way I was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
34th birthday.
I was.
That's when I finally got it. I woke up and I was like, I am made of magic. I shit gold bricks. What? You
are a much smarter woman than I am, because it took me longer. And I will tell you, so, you know, your first one that you were talking about that stole your JCPenney card. I've had
We've all had them.
Wait. I've had two of them that ended up with all of my credit cards as joint signers on all of my credit cards.
Yep.
I bought one a house and a boat. I ran his business for him. All while I worked my own full-time job and raised a child by myself. And then the one they were both still sleeping with their girlfriends.
Yes.
And I wasn't aware of this because I was living with them or they were living with me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how that was happening. Anyway, one of them, he called me up and he said, I have this check, I need it cash. Can you cash it for me? And I didn't think anything of it, you know, because he's like, and I'll give it to you because I owe you money. You know that one, right? So I cashed the check for him, and it was, I don't know, it was probably $800. And all I did was I put it in the bank, and I took the money out and handed it to him. Mm-hmm. And a couple days later, I'm in bed in my underwear, and this woman comes into my bedroom, yanks me out of my bed by my hair.
What?
And says...
Why am I just hearing this story for the first time?
Says...
The hell?
She's cussing me out. She's like, you better give me my money. You know the song. And I'm like, who are you? What money? Why are you in my bedroom? And there's him standing right behind her. And he's going like this.
So he's running a scheme on both of you.
Yes. So what had happened was he had gotten her like Social Security check or something.
Oh, no.
And had me cash it. Now, keep in mind, I did not get any of that money that he said he was going to give me.
Of course not.
And she was taking me to court She was suing me over this money. So I had to borrow money that I never got in the first place to pay her to leave me alone. Because I was just like, I don't even know who you are. I don't want any business with any of this. During that time frame, while she was in there pulling me out of my bed by my hair,
How'd she get into your apartment?
he had the key. He let her in. While she was doing that, he went through all my jewelry and took it to the pawn shop and pawned all my jewelry. So not only did
you ever press charges?
I think that he was scheming. I think they were both scheming
Scamming
me.
you, right.
I really
Okay,
do.
Yeah.
And
That's what it sounds like.
Yes. So, no, I tried to press charges and I couldn't prove that any of that actually happened. I couldn't prove anything. So I was
Because you didn't actually see him
right.
taking the jewelry and stuff.
But then when I did find my jewelry, I found some of my jewelry at a local pawn shop and it was in his name. And I had to prove that it was mine.
Wow.
So that was just two of them. And then there's the good old country boy. The good old country boy. Sweet talk you all the way, singing to you.
Prince Charming.
Oh, singing to you with
call him
that
Prince
country
Charming.
accent. Hey, baby, how you doing? Looking awful pretty today, ain't you? Yes, you are. He was my on and off again, beat the crap out of me, drunk. We broke up and got back together so many times. And, you know, he was very much a narcissist. He was an abusive narcissist. And at the time, he had me to such a low place in my life that everything he said to me, every hateful word, I would write it down and I would hold it. And he really messed with my head.
That's but that's a perfect example, though, of like one chance encounter.
And that's the thing. And I was smaller than I am now. I was maybe 14, 16. Mm-hmm. And he was constantly telling me how overweight I was. He was, constantly telling me if I wanted to have sex, I was a whore. I'm just going to throw that out there. So, I mean, it was just...
I've been called a lot worse by a lot better people.
So, and it took me getting with another guy who was by far worse than any of them. I won't even go into that story because that's a book. That's an actual book that will be written soon. But I'm just saying, I never learned that I was worthy of being loved for me, for who I am, as I am. And it wasn't until Sean and I got together that I basically said, this is what I will tolerate. Mm-hmm. This is what I will not tolerate. This is what I deserve. And if you can't offer that, then I have no reason to have that in my life. So you have to reach that point where you wake up one day and you have to say, I am worth more than what I have. Mm-hmm. I am worth more than the treatment that I'm receiving. I am worth more than.
Because I'm gonna tell you this: being alone ain't that bad.
It isn't. I think I'd rather be alone than be. I know I'd rather be alone than be in a unhappy.
Oh, that's the truth. You know what? At this age, and I'm going to say this: at this age, if God forbid me and Mr. whatever go our separate ways, I think I've said this before, I would not seek another mate. Just simply because I really enjoy me time. So first of all, let me say this. Mr. and I have a magical relationship.
So does Sean and I.
And part of that is because I work first shift and he works third shift. And when we get to see each other, it's like, hey, we actually get to enjoy one another's company. And then, we're both very... we're both introverts. And so when we come together, it's great because then we have something to talk about. We enjoy one. Like I said, he's funny. I'm funny, I think, a little bit. Anyway, but that's how that relationship works.
And it's the same with Sean and me.
We respect one another's space. It took me a long time with him of trying to understand because I wanted to make him into... I was so used to a pattern. Mm-hmm. I was very clingy in the beginning. of our relationship. I just felt like, you know, I want us to do stuff together all the time. We got to do everything together and everything together. He's like, lady, I'm gonna need 3 feet. He's like, I can sign up for this shit. So, but it, you know, and for a long time, I would get offended. I would like, oh my God, you just don't love me because you don't spend every waking hour. First of all, that is a freaking fantasy. It's not healthy for you to stay under someone and look to another human being for entertainment, for validation 24/7. That's, like I said, there's a lot of pressure to put on somebody, on another person. You have to be able to be an independent unit yourself, so that when you guys come together, you have something to
offer
share.
each other, to
exactly,
share, to bring to the table.
Exactly. But if you're out here, like I said, Mr. finally, because, you know, and what I wasn't understanding about Mr. is that he needed time to recharge his battery. Mm-hmm. And the more time I got to recharge my battery, I'm like, I'm kind of interested in some other things.
Right.
Like,
I could do this.
I think I might want to do X, Y, and Z. You know, whatever my interest was at the time. He's always been very supportive of whatever I've wanted to do. He backs me 110%. But at the end of the day, we can come together, and then when we part ways, it's like, see you next time. Enjoyed your company. Safe travels. You know?
Yes, I do.
But would I want to have to go through that?
Start all over
again and have that whole and I call it training, and it is. It's
training for both of you.
How to behave with, right. It's training, like learning how that person wants to be loved. That's the thing.
I don't have the energy for that.
I don't have it in me.
I don't have the energy.
Because it's like adopting a child. It really is like adopting a child.
And I love Sean to the ends of the earth. He's very similar to your Mr. You know that. Mm-hmm. Sean and our husbands are very similar, very even temperament, very shy until you get to know them, and then they don't shut
like
up.
The spotlight.
Yes.
But are very funny in their own way.
Yes. And then and Sean has been the most supportive human being I've ever had in my entire life. And I have gone from one thing to another since I've met him, and everything has been a step up or a step over, and a new direction, it's always constantly changing. And he is just kind of just gone with the gone with the show, just, you know, whatever you want to do, you know. And he started calling me his what do you call me? Your sugar mama? No. When you put stock into something for future.
Oh, my investment.
I'm his investment. So he's investing his time in me, because when I become Ellen or Oprah, then all he'll have to do is, you know, be my entourage.
He gets to ride the wave then at that point. You know?
And that's kind of how he feels like, you know, I'm his investment, you know, he wants to be my manager, and just, you know, but he's always very supportive. He's always, and it has taken, we didn't start out this way. We didn't. He was coming from, he had just lost his wife. She had passed away, and I had just lost my husband. He had just passed away. And we had been through the ringer, both of us, with our spouses. And I don't mean we had some hard times. I mean, we were literally ripped to shreds by what our spouses did to us. And we had to pick up the pieces, literally. And if we hadn't found each other to do it together, I don't know if either one of us would be here, honestly.
I married my husband as part of a joke.
Did you really?
I did. We were, so how I met Mr. Mr.'s from the Bahamas, you know. So we had gone down there. I met Mr. in a Bahamian chat room. Thank you, internet. And so I met Mr. when we went to the Bahamas. We set up a meeting, And when we met at the airport, because he picked us up from the airport, because I was just that sketchy in my early 30s, that I would get into the car with anybody pretty much in a foreign country.
Good. Yeah.
Yep, because that's what you do.
I
You
get
go to a foreign
I
go
got
to a
you.
foreign country and you just take a ride from the dude that you've been talking to that you only got a picture of 3 days before you left, but you've been talking to him for 3 or 4 months. That's how
I would
roll.
never do anything like that.
Never. I can tell it. I can tell it. So, anyway, met Mister. Had a couple of girlfriends with me. We all go back to the hotel. He and I, the second or third night we were there, we were sitting out on the beach. The moon was out over the water, and we were watching the waves, lap at the sand, and it was all very romantic. First of all, when I met him, it wasn't romance. It was like twins that had been separated at birth, more like.
Between you and him.
Yes, it was very odd. It was just like I had known him my whole life, but as part of my family. So it was very comfortable. Like I farted around him right away.
I did with Sean too.
We just broke the ice. I mean, it was like the first or second night, I think, I want to say. And I think it was a wet one too. I don't think it was just like, I don't think it was a whistler. But it ended up that we were sitting out on the beach, and because we had to vacate the room because someone was having company. Let's just say that. So he turned to me and he said, "You know what we ought to do?" And I'm thinking that he's going to say, "Make love on this beach." You know what he said to me?
What do you say?
He said, "We should go back to the room and run the key card through very quietly through the thing, and then kick the door in and yell police."
And you knew you'd found your one, didn't you?
And it was at that moment that I knew. That's the other half. That's it. I must have him. I must take him back to the States with me.
Leslie says how Stella got her groove back.
Yeah. And so I proposed to him right there on the beach. I was like, I think I want to marry you.
Like after 5 minutes after meeting him.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 days in. We had been talking on the phone and on the internet.
I just want to make sure that just a few minutes ago you said that you can't fall in love with somebody within the first.
No. I didn't say I was in love with him.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily I wasn't in love with him. I was in love with his personality.
Okay.
I wasn't. It took us, I'm going to be honest with you. It took us probably about 3 years to really be like, you know what, I love him. Like, I genuinely love him. It like that. Mm-hmm. Because there wasn't, we were just really, really, really good together. Like like I said, as far as being supportive. And one thing is that I think because I had been burned so badly in the previous relationship, I was like, this in-love thing, kind of for the birds. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try to do this from a logical standpoint. And really, I did. I judged him with a different measuring stick.
I did with Sean too.
I looked at him from the standpoint of, is this person responsible? What relationship does he have with his mother? That's a big one. How does he treat his mom? What relationship does he have with his family?
How does he treat waitresses?
Is he kind to children and animals? Is he a provider? Is he fiscally responsible? Because I'm not. I should say that I'm not. But I wanted somebody to balance me out. Because and here's the thing. The guy that I was with before him, there were no breaks in that relationship. And when I say no breaks, I mean, I'm an impulsive person. So, and I'm also headstrong. I'm also, I have a very dominant personality. And I didn't want somebody that tried to dominate me, but somebody that I could respect enough that I say, you know what, I value your opinion and I'm going to take that into consideration before I make my final judgment.
I did. That's the same with Sean. He was when I met him, I met him before his wife died.
Mm-hmm.
And after his wife died, there was a mess. It was a huge mess.
Yeah.
And Sean was financially taking care of his wife's brother and 4 kids. They were all living with him, and he was supporting them all. And, you know, at first I was like, oh my gosh, this is... I mean, he was buying all the groceries, he was doing all the cleaning, and they were just pretty much doing nothing. And I watched him do it. And so I learned to appreciate him, but I also realized that I would do the same thing. I would pick up strays, I would take care of people to my detriment. And so one of the things that we had to do together was we had to learn to take care of each other and not everybody else.
Right.
And there was more than one occasion where someone else tried to come into the picture for us to take care of. And we both had to say, this is not who we are now. This is not where we are. And, you know, we have kept each other in that place. And where it's a complete, you know, it's 100% for both of us. And it's completely taking care of the other one and making sure that, I mean, when he has a bad day, I have a bad day. But then I tease him until he starts laughing.
See, our relationship is different.
And vice versa.
Because I'm of the mindset that you can't have a 50-50 relationship and I'll tell you why.
That's why I said 100 and 100.
Well, you can't even, and I'll tell you why. If you have 50-50 or 100-100, then you're a stalemate. There has to be, somebody has to be the leader.
I agree with you.
So, and here's the thing. While I am the more vocal of the two of us, Mr. is a leader. And I'm okay with him being the leader.
Is he really?
He is. If Mr. says no, he rarely says no to me because I can figure out a way to justify almost anything that I ask for. But when Mr. says no, I know, don't keep going back and asking. Because I respect his no. Because when he says no, there's a reason behind, and there's a valid reason because, and also part of that is also being very self-aware that I have an impulsive personality.
I do too.
I will give you an example. Hey, mister, I haven't paid the gas and electric bill this month, but let's ride to Canada on Saturday. Let's go ahead and let's get away for the weekend.
How'd that go?
So Mr. says, absolutely not. I think that we're going to pay the gas and electric bill, and then that way the lights stay on. And then if you want to take a trip to Canada, then we can plan ahead for that.
Right.
But see, that impulsive part of me is like, I'll get ants in my pants. My mother calls it wanderlust. You know, where you're like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta get out of here. You know, and sometimes that's to my detriment. So I love that I have that balance with him, that there is somebody there to tell me no. Because previous relationship, I'd be like, hey, haven't paid the water or the gas and electric bill. Let's go to the Bahamas. And he'd be like, yeah, let's do it. And then when we get back, the lights and everything's shut off. And then he's looking at me like, I don't know how we're going to fix this, because he wasn't. And he said something interesting to me once. This was in the final breakup. He said,
this is an ex, not Mr.
This is an ex. This is not Mr. No. He said, you won't let me be the man.
I heard that a lot in all my relationships.
And I'm going to give you a little clue. Any gentlemen that pay the price of admission at the menopausal view. Somebody doesn't let you be a man. You just are, or you are not. That is it. If you are a leader, then lead. If you're not a leader, then step back, get out of the way, and let somebody lead that knows what the hell they're doing.
At least has a
has
place they're going.
Exactly. Because in the end, like I said, I'm so happy that relationship came to an end, because sometimes you get what you need and it turns out to be what you wanted.
I agree.
You know?
I absolutely agree. And Sean is, I have very similar with Sean. I don't know that he's necessarily, and I went into this relationship with him from a much more left-brained than right-brained perspective. And
that right brain, honey, that right brain will have you, will tell you some crazy stuff. She will. She'll be like,
but I will tell you, I have never.
He lives in his mom's basement.
And
you should marry him.
It has been the most rewarding relationship I've ever been in. I mean, we've had a couple of toughs, and they usually last for about 5 minutes.
Right.
And it's over. And it's usually over something stupid. Just one of us is grumpy, one of us is tired. And it's
or there's 6 Amazon boxes that show up in one day.
That would never.
And schedule that appropriately.
That would never happen at my house.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, the thing of it is, as you get older, you better start taking stock of,
what's
and don't get me
important.
wrong, he's not perfect. He's not. If you watch this, don't let this gas your boat up, because you're not perfect.
Same with Sean.
But you are tolerable. And that is why I renew your license every year. Every year.
Yep.
Yes.
Sean and I just renewed
our yearly review here in another couple of months.
Sean just passed his yearly review in December.
There you go.
So he still has 9 more months to go till the next one.
Way to go. Way to come through. He's out.
Well, in November, he really starts putting on the, he really starts going the extra mile.
Yeah.
But, he doesn't realize that I'm keeping score from December to December. And I'm remembering it all.
And the average comes out. It comes out because we take the mean. We take the mean.
It's important to do that.
It is. It absolutely is. So, but like I said, as you get older, and not as you get older, just if you can do it while you're young, set your standards higher. Just, move the dial up a little bit, because men, and I'm going to talk to us as women, because this is a women's area. This is our playground here. Men can translate it as they want. But we are so quick to shave off the important things off the list, like honesty, like loyalty, like I said, fiscal responsibility. If you don't think that is something important, you are sorely mistaken. Kindness.
How they treat you.
You better, and I'm gonna give you, when you meet somebody, you start dating them, think of this, because this is ultimately where this is all headed anyway. Is this man going to wipe my ass?
If you're dying.
And that's a legitimate question. Do you see that in that person? Is that person, because if you live long enough,
eventually one of you is going to be taking care of the other one.
One of you all is going to be wiping somebody's ass. And so you better attach yourself to somebody that has that nurturing, caring, and that they would take care of you really when the chips are down. It's all fine and well and good to have somebody that's cute, that's pretty on your arm and, tells you what you want to hear. But actions speak louder than words.
And
so,
if you get an opportunity on YouTube, the other day we did a video, Sean and I did a video on, would you take care of a mate who was no longer able to take care of themselves? Mm-hmm. And it also applied to parents, and because we have both done that, we've both had to take care of, I had to take care of my father, he had to take care of his wife, and, it shows us, you have to be a special kind of human being to be able to do that. You have to. You have to set your entire life aside to take care of that person. And so knowing that both of us had at one point had to do that, it shows that we're willing to do it,
For one another.
Exactly.
Right.
And Sean does do a lot for me. He does more for me than most men have to do.
Right.
And I am, don't tell him I said this, but I'm really grateful for him.
And I'm grateful for Mister. I am. He's pretty cool dude. He makes me laugh. He tickles me.
Sean does me too.
So,
He's stupid about it though.
yes, well, your husband tickles me. He cracks me up.
It's because he's stupid.
He is stupid. He is just stupid. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the stick that you want. That's the measuring stick you want to use when you're out on your first date. How do you feel about cleaning my undercarriage?
It's important.
I've soiled myself here at dinner.
This is an important question.
I've soiled myself here at dinner. How do you feel about hosing down my undercarriage? You're going to get rid of a lot of frogs that way, ladies. A lot of frogs. You're going to avoid. You shit yourself at dinner.
Yeah.
First date. You're going to avoid a lot of kissing a lot of frogs.
You're going to figure out who's got staying power. You're going to figure it out fast.
True story.
Okay.
Anywho, did I touch on the second part of that? Oh, no. So
there's more.
Oh, wait, there's more.
For $5.99, $99.95,
right.
We will
throw in another conversation about. So this is the second thing, because this is one of those. I just been thinking. Plus, I'm so hopped up on tea and cold medicine right now that I can go for a while, ladies. I'm just saying that. I've drunk probably a half a gallon of tea, of the sweet tea.
And I'm about to pee my pants, and she's sitting here talking.
And she's
like, the second part.
I made a 2-gallon thing, and there's about 7 of those giant heaping spoonfuls of sugar in that tea, too. It's full strength.
And we've filled this up already, so.
Yep. So my question for you is, how do you end a relationship? Or do you end a relationship? Do you? And you're going to have to start reading some of these comments too, because we've just been rambling because I'm high.
Sonia says that she loves our hairstyles. Leslie says yes, also true. And Christine Graves says hello.
Hello, ladies.
We're not getting a whole lot of comments on here.
Yes, you are. We're just not reading them.
Well, they all say hi, and
okay.
And they
ladies.
They love our wigs. Everybody loves our wigs. They're both Jocelyn's wigs.
Thank you. So, how do you end a relationship though? Because that seems to be, people are so cowardly nowadays. Like they do it by text,
ghosting,
or like you just disappear. You just do like the Homer Simpson fade into the shrubbery. That whole thing, like stop returning phone calls, stop coming to the door. That whole thing. So, what is this?
Vicky says she moved out and divorced him.
That's one way to end it.
Well,
so
my last relationship died, so
you got nothing basically.
That's been like I don't know, 20 years. So
I have found when I was a teenager, I had a very firm rule that if I didn't hear from you in 2 days, that I had moved on. You were dead to me at that point. Now, clearly, it's amazing what a little bit of weight and a little bit of age can do to you.
Change your perspective.
Changes your perspective on some things. But I have found that I like to make
wait.
What?
Wait.
What?
You know how Vicky said she moved out and divorced him?
Yeah.
She says, then I remarried him. Because God has a sense of humor.
Because what you want to do is put spoiled milk back into the refrigerator and hope that it's fresh for the next day. Because that works all the time.
Always works. Are you still married to him? Oh my God. Are you still married to him, Vicky?
That's hilarious. And if you are, good for you. That is amazing.
And Angelina says that she ended one that was a narcissistic jerk. She says, I did it in a text with that dude. It was better than running him over with the car.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I can't argue. I can't argue with the narcissist. It is better than running him over with the car. At least you're here and not in jail.
This is true. So, I have found that I just like to make people miserable until they leave me.
She just remarried him last summer. Vicky did. How long were you guys separated or divorced? Now, see, I can't even say this because my parents got divorced and they had been married for 23 years and then they got remarried 8 years later and were married for another 15 years.
You know why? Because they've already trained one another.
And
they get out there and
they never dated anybody else.
I'm gonna do me.
And they dated the whole time.
And
my dad went through a midlife crisis and mom was like, I'm going to kill you.
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Again.
And Vicky says that that he came out of his midlife crisis.
There you go.
They were apart 6 years.
See?
Men have midlife crises.
You know what? And
women go through menopause.
But and that's the truth. Men really do go through, because they get to the halfway point, and you start.
Sean started that like when he was 30, though.
Yeah, but see, for men. So here's the thing. For men, I think for women too, because we just. Number one, we're so busy caring for everybody else around us that we don't really get to focus on a lot of the foolishness. But men have time to think about, that I've lived longer than the time that I probably have left. You know what I mean?
Anticipated that I would survive this long. I have lived longer than I thought that I would.
Right. I've flown too close to the sun now. So what do I do now with this? Because, so, and I'm not talking about Sean, because Sean has a healthy mane of hair, as does Mr.
Vicky says that they were married for 34 years and apart for 6.
Okay.
So you guys are at the 40-year mark, technically, and you've been back together for 3 years, so 43 years.
That's some impressive stats, Vicky. It is.
It's a long time to put up with someone and not kill them.
You rolling over looking at the same person over and over again.
And not kill them. And not, how many times have you wanted to kill him? Because that's really what I really want to know. Because I wanted to kill Sean more times than I can count.
When Mr. makes noises and makes moaning noises when he eats, I want to smother him with a pillow.
Sean.
When he goes, when he goes, I want to smother him with a pillow. I don't know what that is.
Sean smacks his gums, and I'm just like.
But. That's small things to a giant, because like I said, I've been out here, because me and Mr., we went on a hiatus for a couple of years, and, you get out here in the dating pool, and it's not what you think it's going to be cracked up to be, because you realize that, number one, we're middle age now, so everybody is built funny, and I don't like middle-aged men. I'm not attracted to middle-aged men.
Hang on, we're getting a lot of messages here.
And I don't want to be a cougar. And
I am a cougar.
And I think that old men will give you worms. And here's the thing. We are now officially in the space where I think our age group is kind of the old men that I'm talking about. So I was like, let me just go back home.
I don't get hit on by the old men.
Oh, I do. I'm an old man magnet. Anybody that's over 65 and collects a check or has a gold tooth. They're all over me like flies on shit.
You
I'm telling
are
you.
Gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
You really are. You are gorgeous.
I do what I
can. I get hit on by women more.
Do you? Mm-hmm. I don't get hit on women at all. And you would think, as butchy as I am, that I would get hit on more. That is not the case.
No, I'm the ultra femme. It's the ultra femme that they're drawn to, and
do not know about that.
And they become very good friends of mine. But
maybe alas, your love can never be.
That is correct. I have never been that so inclined.
No, the gentlemen that are attracted to me usually carry about $8 worth of quarters in their pockets.
Nice. My girls, though, were usually pretty enlightened, pretty intelligent. I mean, if they were guys, it probably would have been a thing. I have to say.
Yeah, the little gentlemen that are attracted to me, they got that little fast walk. They walk like this, and they got a little bounce to it, and then they got the pocket full of change and the wallet with all their grandkids' pictures in it still, that had the little, like if you took the plastic away, it would rip the face off of the person on the picture because it's been in there for so long. That's who's attracted to me.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was the question?
The question was, how do you break up with somebody? I don't know how in the hell we always get so far from the topic.
Well, I think that, so, like, when it comes to, like, people, I've had to learn to, my energy is precious these days. Mm-hmm. So I've had to learn to give my energy to the people who give me
Sparingly.
back energy.
Right.
To the people who feed my soul. Mm-hmm. You are one of those people who feed my soul.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Now, there's people that I want to learn from. Some people that just have such a very different point of view that it makes it difficult for me to find common ground with them. Mm-hmm. And once I feel like we have reached an impasse and I'm fundamentally still on a different level, I can still be friends with them, but I'm not going to invite them into my sparse energy.
See, here's that thing. This is why I'm going to be old and alone and not have many friends, because I can't hold my tongue anymore. And I'm just like,
I'm not saying hold your tongue.
And here's the thing. I'm at the point now where if it's let's say that it's a relationship, let's say that it's I'm gonna need to have that conversation with you and explain to you why we're breaking up. As a friend, why we're breaking up. Why?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't go out of my way to break up with friends. I
don't either, unless you've done something where I'm just like, dude, like, I can't.
I've never had someone do something to me that I felt was unforgivable. I have never been that. I've never held a grudge. I've gotten hurt, but I have never been in a place where I have said that person is dead to me. I've wanted, that pain to not be there, but I don't think that I have ever voluntarily, except for men, broken off a relationship.
I have.
Because people grow and they change, and people say you can't change, but that's not true, because I'm a completely different human being than I was.
Yeah, like if you met me in high school,
I'm a completely different person.
Introduced to me now because I'm a different person.
And I still have my best friend from kindergarten. Mm-hmm. I still have my best friend when I moved to the public school system. Robin White is still my best friend. We have known each other. We're each other's godparents to our kids. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We have known each other for 35 years.
Yeah.
Plus. And then I have another friend that I have been friends with for over 30 years, since Brad was born. I have friends that I've been friends with for decades. And we come into each other's circles, we leave each other's circles.
That's different though. That's not because of betrayal though. That's just because life takes you apart.
I've fought with some of those people too though. For different reasons.
But I'm saying, no, okay, so here's my thing now. When somebody does something vile to you, because we can kind of touch on this. Sheree and I touched on it, but we can delve into this a little bit too. I think it's interesting that we are far more forgiving of a significant other than we are of a friend. Which means the person that you would expect, not to say that you don't expect it from your friends, but I think that they should kind of be judged with the same ruler. Because both of them have made a commitment to you. Your spouse, your significant other, whatever. If it got brought up because of that Khloe Kardashian thing, which I give, when I say
zero.
I can't stand them people.
When I see anything about that family, I can't even deal with it.
I can't even deal with it.
So please.
But it's in my face and Facebook and everything. So I was like, because I felt like they're riding this girl Jordan very hard about this thing, which rightfully so, because you don't do things like that to your pseudo family. But I think it's interesting that no blame is being placed on him, where he's the person that has the commitment to, and this happens all the time. It's not just her. This is a woman thing. that we are so quick to forgive the man because we want to be loved. We got to be loved. We got to fix this broken thing. When this person is out here flailing their Johnson all over the, all the states, all the continental U.S. So, but we're so fixated on we have to win. A former friend of mine, when I was in my 20s, I used to date this guy, and he and I didn't realize it until it was too late, till I was knee deep in it, that me and this other girl were fighting over him. Not really fighting, but yeah, fighting. We were at one another when we should have been at him, or
right,
separated from him, period.
Right.
But somebody former friend said to me, you've been shaking that box and shaking that box and shaking that box. What's in that box ain't for you. Let that lady have her box, because chances are you don't want what's in that box.
Right.
And it's the truth. And from that point on, I was like, I wish I would fight over a man. I see all these women out here, Facebook posts, Facebook fighting with each other. You both look stupid.
Oh,
you both look
bad.
You both look damn ridiculous.
Gosh.
And you don't see the man say anything. He's not saying anything because he's playing both hands.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming out the winner here. You all are on the losing end. You're losing respect for yourself. You're losing the respect of your friends, because even when your friends say, you know what, I got your back, but
girl,
like,
you got to stop every day.
Oh my God, you're the topic of conversation. He's making a fool out of both of you. And so, when you get to that point, it's like my thing is this: you got to step away and look at this as though you're your best friend, because if you are your own best friend, you're going to be like, hey, best friend, we don't want to do that. What advice would you give your daughter? If she was in that same situation, what advice would you give your own child?
So here's how I would answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? My advice to anyone who is in that place where a relationship needs to end is, number one, you have to decide what you are willing to accept. That's the most important thing. What level of disrespect or fill in the blank are you willing to accept and still be happy with yourself? Number two.
Wait a minute. May I interject here for just a moment? With what she just said, I want you to think about this. When you get to our age, you're going to want all that fucking time back. You're going to want all of those. When I say you're going to want to collect all those hours, all those minutes, all those seconds, and tack it on to the end of your life, because you realize how precious time is. And you don't want anybody to waste it.
Exactly.
Go ahead, proceed.
The next thing is that I would say, is what is happening conducive to your growth? Okay? So is the problem because they are trying to help you, push you, guide you, teach you, lead you into a better you? Even if you're not prepared for it, is that why there's a problem? And if their intentions are good, you have to really sit down and analyze those intentions and whether or not you're ready to accept those intentions. And if you are not, then you have to draw a line and you have to make sure that they know it.
Because let me tell you something. Time is clicking.
The most important thing I would say to if this was my daughter, is I would say, how much do you love yourself? If you were saying these things to yourself, would you accept these statements to be true?
Right.
Would you say these things to that person whom you love? And if you cannot say that in this person that I love, this that I love, I would never say that. Even if you would say that to yourself because you're harder on yourself than you are your friends and other people, if it does not sit well with you, there's a reason why. And it's because it's going against something in your heart or your brain or your soul that's not accepting that, and it's not a behavior that you want in your life. So how much do you love yourself in order to change this dynamic of where you are? And sometimes it doesn't take breaking up the relationship. It takes just having a conversation. Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it takes a fight. Sometimes it takes a breakup. But I'm just saying there are so many options out there, but you have to make sure that you put yourself in the place of the most important. I know that sounds selfish, but you have to be the most important person in your life.
You have to.
You cannot take care of everybody else if you can't take care of yourself.
Honey, say it.
If you are not healthy mentally, physically, psychologically, you cannot be there mentally, physically, psychologically for someone else.
Let me say this. Another thing you got to figure out, are you just bored? Because boredom will get you jacked up. See, boredom gets us into a lot of relationships we have no business being in. My thing is this: if you're bored and lonely are two different things. Don't ever go into a relationship, number one, feeling lonely, because that'll make you have make some bad decisions too. Usually we mistake that feeling. It's really just boredom. Take a class. Do something to better yourself. Do something that develops an interest first. Make yourself, my thing is build yourself up.
And here's the thing. One of the things that, jumping off of what you just said about taking a class, not everybody has the money to take a class. Hang on.
There are a lot of free classes out here.
Hang on. There's something else I want to suggest. So, one of my lowest points in my life, when I was still struggling with everything, I didn't know who I wanted to be when I grew up. I didn't have any goals. You know what I did was I helped out in a food kitchen.
There you go. And
volunteering and helping others who were in the same position as I was or in a lesser position gave me so much. It gave me energy. And I was kind of doing it for selfish reasons because I loved helping the people. So I was getting back from that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I didn't do it to share with people. I didn't do it to say, "Oh my God, I really worked at a kitchen."
To get the PR for it, right?
And in fact, I don't feel like that is. I feel like if you do something for someone, it's never.
It should be out of the goodness of your heart. You shouldn't have a camera stuck in somebody's face to record your good deeds. Yes,
exactly. And I will be. It's so funny that you say that because there are beauty pageants out there that their whole core is based on what you do for the community and that kind of thing. And I won't do those because I will not
do it for an ulterior motive.
I won't. Right. I'm sorry. I will not tell, this is what I do for the community, and I did this, and then I took this to the homeless people, and I gave this person a car.
So
it's just that's not why you do it.
Right. So,
but it will help you. It will help you here. It will help you here. It will help you with that.
I'm a firm believer
less
in
than.
I am definitely a firm believer in that. But when I say do things to build yourself up, and it's because when you build yourself up, you're much harder to tear down.
Yes, you are.
And when somebody tries to tear you down, you're like, hey, wait a minute. Maybe you didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I? Wait a minute. Wait, did you see? Check this for how many. Look, does this look like concern in my eye?
I don't see any.
That's what I'm saying is that when somebody, when you build yourself up and you tell yourself, I am fan-freaking-tastic.
And gorgeous.
And I'm smart. And I'm funny. And you know what? Maybe you're not smart. And that's okay too. Be like, you know what? I'm smart. I'm not that smart, but I'm trying. I'm learning.
You know what? I'm
gonna get better.
I feel like I used to be smarter than I am now. I feel like I'm losing. I feel like I'm losing my brain.
I lose words all the time now. Like I lose, in my vocabulary, I have a very vast vocabulary, and but I'm if you don't use it, you lose it, and that's the thing. You don't. Here's another little tip for you. You don't get smarter by hanging around with stupid people. Let's just put that on the table.
Now, hang on. Let me say this. I'm going to throw this out here. So when Sean and I first got together, I had someone in his family ask me why I was with him. Mm-hmm. And they literally said, because he's not very, smart. And you are. And let me just say this. My answer to her at that time was, I've been with the super smart guy, and he destroyed me. And I said, Sean is a kind man, and he's a good man. That was my answer.
We're not talking about book smart.
No,
I'm not
but
talking
hang on.
Book smart, because you can. Here's the thing.
I wasn't.
Are you with somebody that you can learn from?
And that's where I was getting ready. That's where I was going.
That's it. Because he might have his own special set of things that you
can
learn from.
He is so smart, and I realized not too long ago. I looked at him and I was just like, because he acts like he's stupid. He acts like he has not got a clue.
I don't think he acts like he's just quiet. No, and people mistake that sometimes for stupidity.
He says stuff sometimes that you're just like, but I figured it out. He is really, really smart. He plays dumb. And that makes him even smarter because he knows how to play dumb.
I'm just going to say.
So make sure they're for real dumb.
I'm going to repeat. You don't get smarter by hanging around with stupid people. That's all I'm saying. So whether it be, because I am, from a book smart thing, I'm at a different level than my husband. But my husband, I can't hold a candle to him in other areas,
right.
And the thing of it is, like, and not just street smarts, but like he's a an electrician. He's got all these other abilities but he's like, reading Beowulf is not my thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he has a different set of skills than I have. And the one thing that I love about our relationship is that I'm always learning something from him.
And so Sean has never been a handyman. Mm-hmm. Not a clue.
Okay.
And when our house flooded, we built it first, and then it flooded, and then it flooded. Mm-hmm. And so by the time
it flooded 2 more times.
Yeah. So by the time it was all said and done, he had, the last time through, he pretty much rebuilt everything because he had done it with other people, and he had to learn.
He learned a little bit as he went along.
Yeah, and so he has learned how to be a handyman, whereas before he would start cutting he would make one notch on something and start sawing it. And I'm like, dude, where's your second measurement? He's like, I don't need a second measurement. There's a beam on here.
Got it.
There's a beam. It's straight. And I'm like, no, no, it's not straight. You're going like this is straight, but It's not the way you want it to go. So now he's learned a lot of this. But if you ask him anything about history, that man can name off the dates, what happened, who was involved.
See, I'm horrible.
And I'm just like, was there a war during that time, maybe?
Right. Like I said, you know who the stupid people in your life are. We all do. And you know who you need to separate yourself from. We all do. So, get to separating. If these people are not adding value to your life, if they are causing you stress, if they are causing you discomfort, if they are holding you back from being your best self, if they're judging you while they sit on the porch and watch cars go by, separate yourself.
Bye.
That's all you need.
So Christine says, something my grandmother told me was know your worth, and amen.
Yep. True story.
That summed up everything that we have just said in this video. Was know your worth.
That's it. And it's easy. It's a cliche, but it's true. And the thing of it is, it's sad that so many of us don't know it until we're later on in life and we're all used up. We've let somebody think of yourself as a piece of paper, as a full piece of paper, and that everybody that comes into your life tears off a little piece of that piece of paper. And after a while, you've given so much of that paper away that you only have just a little bit left. How many of us would like to go back and collect all of those pieces of paper? I have a notebook worth of paper that I'd like to get reimbursed for.
I understand that.
So.
Because by the time you get to this point where all you have is this little piece of paper, you don't have the energy.
Right. You're very protective of your paper now. You're like, no, I only got this piece left. This is all that I have.
And there's no energy left for anything outside of that piece of paper.
No, you don't get any more of my paper now. So anyway.
That's a good analogy.
I do what I can,
Well done, bravo.
It's all up here. It's all up here in the vault. There you go. Anyway, I think that we've gone as far as we can. Would you like to read some of the comments?
I've pretty much kept up with most of them.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Most of them were talking about breaking up with their bad exes and stuff like that. So I kind of kept up with most of
very
those.
Good. We don't usually do that because
we got a lot of preaching and you go girls and stuff like that.
Because we have horrible eyesight, and let's just say that out loud. So,
which is why I have this right here, and I
Right.
still can hardly see it.
Right. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us this evening.
Yes, thank you very much.
And we've had a wonderful time here, and I'm being summoned. The child wants to know, did I cook? I wish she would watch the things to see if I cooked. I did cook. I made.
Watch the Menopausal View to find out if she cooked or not.
Look, here we go. Now she's calling me to see if I cooked. Yes.
While you're live.
Yes, Peter, you should watch the Menopausal View, for you would know that your mother made a roasted chicken, vegetables, and rice. So there you go. So anyway, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And
stay fabulous.
stay fabulous. Peace out.